Welcome back to the Living ABSD podcast. I'm your host, AB, short for ABSD, they, them pronouns. And I'm so grateful and excited to have you back here in the Living ABSD space. This podcast has the intention of helping teach people how to begin to create a new standard direction of living for their own lives through love, healing, and personal responsibility. Grateful to have you here with me today in the podcasting space. Today, we're talking about I am my own home. Yeah, I love this concept. But before we get into it, let's tune in and breathe. If you are driving, please don't close your eyes. But if you're not, the invitation is to sink in, take some deep grounding breaths with me here, and we'll get into it. Let's breathe. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Last one, deep breath in, deep breath out. I call upon my divine spirit team and guides, angels, ancestors, God, universe, creator, source, invisible forces, rainbow spiral, and any energy that vibrates at divine love or higher who wishes to enter into this podcasting space with me today. I invite in the feeling and safety of home that is cultivated within our own bodies, that is then brought into spaces where we enter. I ask that this podcast find all who it is meant to find in the right time and space, that it kickstarts some shifts into cultivating greater comfortability and fertile ground within our own selves. And so it is. Man, every time I go into those 3 deep breaths, the last one gets me and I just there's like so much breath that wants to come out with it, which thank you, body, for holding me in the ways that you do. Which, speaking of body, that's really part of this theme of I am my own home. You know, your body, your home, all is one. This concept first came to me around a year ago at my first winter intensive in my eco-psychology grad school program. I was navigating at the time challenges, some big challenges inside some of my relationship dynamics, and was having to set some really firm boundaries around what I needed to feel safe inside of my body. I was realizing that the way that these relationships were being cultivated inside of my life was not making me feel safe in my body. And so through that, I was realizing that I wasn't taking care of my own safety. This lack of mutual respect that I was being willing to accept was no longer something that I could continue being okay with and continue saying yes to in the relationships that I was holding, which then made me really dive into this concept of what does it mean for me to be my own home. The transition process for me to living in my authentic expression as the non-binary body that I am came with different levels of challenges that invited me into navigating new parts of myself. I was in a place where I was learning that the person responsible for keeping my vessel safe was me. And I needed to be sure that the home I was living in was holding me gently. Navigating through this season of life, there were many areas of myself that were illuminated with light shone on them of how these external influences were making me feel unsafe in my own home. So in the process of this, it really caused me to have some serious conversations with myself. Because if these external influences were causing me to feel unsafe, then that means my internal influences were not showing up to creating an ecosystem that I was available for. It was at this intensive that I was reflecting on this in a council where a cohort member in the year above me brought me a piece of art that reflected what I was navigating. This art still hangs on my wall and is a constant reminder for me to hold gentleness as I'm prioritizing aspects of my world to hold me in this home I embody. It's really fun because I have a tattoo on my body that I got right after Trump was elected at a Fuck the Patriarchy flash tattoo event. And the piece is of the female body symbol, and I had the non-binary star added to it. And in the middle of this symbol, it says I am my own home, which I am so multifaceted in my embodiment that to get to wear this piece and to get to hold my identity in multiple forms that create me and being me and creating safety around this body internally and externally, that I am able to live in this like fertile creation within myself. I embody this home in ways that a year ago, man, I could have never predicted. And I am so proud of myself for continuing to show up to living in this home that I am in. Home can be a complicated concept for many people. What does home mean? Is home a place or a feeling? Is home cultivated through others, ourselves, the environment? And I was in this season where I was sinking into the fact that this body I live inside of is a home that I take with me everywhere I go. I bring home with me, and if I am able to cultivate a safe landing place for me internally, then it is easier to match my external reality to this. Cultivating internal safety, clearing out the muck inside of me that was not in alignment with what I was available for, has made this shift to asking people to meet me there in my external reality that much easier, because I now know what I am available for and what I'm not available for. My standards have raised. And in the process of this, with me in my experience going through a transition, the things that I used to be available for, the way that I held myself and space for others and just showed up to life, I used to be such a fucking doormat, and I would allow people to walk all over me and to say whatever they wanted to say to me, to ask me for things that I was not available for but would still show up to because I was people pleasing. I would constantly bend my own self to be in the betterment of others while sacrificing my own needs, and learning that I was not available for those things anymore, and cultivating internal safety, prioritizing aspects of myself in new ways, has shifted my external reality because it now had to meet me in new ways. And that meant that I also had to learn how to speak up for myself, which I am still learning how to do. It is a constant thing that I am showing up to, of asking for my needs to be met. And it's even just been in this week alone, as I've been integrating, of continuing to show up to learning what I need to feel more safe and secure in my own home, my internal and my external home. Home, home, home. You are also your own home. The body you live in is yours. We do not have much control in this world, but the vessel in which you inhabit, you do have some control over how you treat it and how you allow other people to treat it as well. As I was navigating these big hurts in my life, I realized that I needed to take care of my own home in new ways. I had to remove myself from the environment I called home and find safety within myself. Oh man, oh yeah, man. This process came with a lot of tears, sorrow, grief, confusion, and anger before it turned into settling, into safety, love, and appreciation for the process. Through actually sitting with myself and allowing the fears to surface with the discomfort of all of it, I found that I was creating new levels of comfortability within myself because I was showing my body that we could trust each other. In the process of doing this, I was very uncomfortable in my own company for a while. Being in the stillness and the quiet of my own thoughts and actually admitting to myself what I didn't need, it was, yeah, it was painful to actually be in those fears and cultivate this safety that I've been talking about. Yet setting new boundaries within myself with the habits that were not serving me completely changed the way that I have been able to interact with my own body and show up to life. Setting new boundaries with the people in my life to adjust to this new level of self that I was embodying has been an important part of the process. I have learned that not everybody is going to be able to show up to what I need in this life, and that's okay. Not everybody is meant to be everything for everyone. Thank goodness. We would all be so exhausted all the time if that was the case. But the people in my life who wanted to help cultivate safety around me and within me have showed up to these new boundaries and have continued to meet me in these new places of myself because they want me to feel safe. They want me to feel supported and also in my full embodiment, which is such a gift. And I know that not everybody has those kinds of supportive people in your life. And this process will help call in those kinds of people because the more that we adjust and align to our fullness of self, the more the universe strips away the things that are not in alignment with that so that new energy and new people aligned with that energy can enter in. And I'm so grateful for the relationships that I've gotten to cultivate in my life, new relationships and old ones that have shifted with me, because this embodiment is important to me, and showing up to my own home has been such a valuable part of this process. Showing up to life through a new lens, prioritizing the safety of my own home, it was, it felt a little unsettling or at first. And I realized that if I was feeling unsettled or dysregulated inside of my body, that was a signal to me that something was not right. Something ain't right. And I needed to listen to what my home was trying to communicate with me. So this process has actually taught me to be more in touch with my body. Through this journey, I've realized that my body that houses me all day, every day is so worthy of this level of care. And once I've showed my body this level of care, my body has been able to communicate with me so much more clearly. And I feel like now I really live in my body. And when something is not aligned, that signal comes online and tells me where in my body I need to do some work to show it care and cultivate love and trust within myself to make it possible for me to expand more in my life. The more that I show up to this cultivating love and trust and care within myself, within my body, within my mind, within my spirit, within my own energy, it's continuing to bring further expansion into my life. The relationship with your own home is one of uttermost priority. If we are disconnected within ourselves, then we are constantly pouring from a glass that has holes in the bottom of it. It does not matter how much water is being poured in to refresh us, it will always drain out because it does not have the proper infrastructure to hold what we need. I used to try to fill my glass with all sorts of things. I'm like, maybe if I put a thicker liquid in here, it won't drain out the bottom. And yeah, no, those drain holes are still going to drain. Which was very frustrating with not realizing what I needed to do to actually properly care for myself and to input infrastructure into my life that could really hold what I needed. And I'm still doing this. I'm still constantly finding out new ways of being held in what I need. And like I've talked about, like I'm in this new version of self is wanting to emerge again. I'm in this contraction that is wanting to expand, and with that, I'm having to learn new infrastructure. I'm having to learn new ways that my body and mind want to be cared for, how my home wants to be cared for. And that also means finding new ways of asking for what my needs are to be met, to create structures around me that are gentle and supportive, which challenges me to vocalize what I need. The people in my life cannot show up to it if they don't know it. And yeah, that's part of my own edges that I am quite literally working through right now. So, waking up to this realization that you are ignoring your own needs and putting the needs of others before your own can be an extremely painful thing to process, especially since changes must be made to readjust your life to being able to hold your needs as well. Your needs matter. You are worthy of having your needs met. You are deserving of feeling safe within your body and mind. We must stop ignoring ourselves in order to serve others. That is disservicing you. And if you are disservicing yourself, you're really disservicing the whole. And so you are deserving and worthy of having your needs be met as well. And cultivating this safety within your own home is of uttermost importance to show up to this task. I found ways that I was neglecting myself that truly surprised me and took me off guard. And yet, acknowledging the neglect I had within myself made me realize new ways of healing that I was grateful to recognize that I needed to do. It didn't come without discomfort, or, if you've been listening to me, I talk about how some of these concepts just really fucking annoy me. It annoys me in the process of like, oh yeah, I have to do this work. And now this work deepens. And now this work deepens even more. And I have to continue showing up to it. But it is such a gift to get to. And I even think about that with this own concept of I am my own home, because yeah, like I look back a year ago and I see retrospectively how much I have done by doing this healing work. And I can also see how it's still showing up in my life today. Again, I'm currently doing this right now in my life as I'm navigating where I am. And by doing this healing work, it's so worthwhile because I've been able to tune into new creative parts of myself that open me up to flowing with creation in beautiful ways. Actually tuning into where is this dysregulation being signaled from? How can I talk to it and ask those parts what they need opens me back up to creation. I was in a very big creative block for several weeks to months, and being able to come out on the other side of that was due to the fact that I tuned in to listening to what my home was telling me. Cultivating a safe landing place within my own body and mind has made my life so much more peaceful. I feel welcome in my own mind to discover the feelings or the pain that is surfacing at any given moment. I feel aligned with my body to tune in when they are telling me I need food, water, movement, a hug, etc. I'm able to actually listen to what those needs are and then have those needs be met by myself or ask for help. It's actually amazing to be able to identify what the need is within myself now because I've cultivated a relationship in me that communicates. Being able to communicate with my own body. I didn't have this. I know some people are raised to understand and what their body is telling them and to listen to their body. And I see that when I am watching some of my friends raise their children, which has been really fucking cool to witness, of how much trust is being created to listen to what those kids' bodies need and to asking for those needs being met. But I didn't know that. I didn't have a relationship with my body in this way. I was really deeply afraid of my body for a long time, physically, in the external, but also internally. And I was afraid of my own needs. So being able to cultivate a relationship within myself that actually communicates has changed the way I show up to life and the way that I really hold this body. I'm giving myself a self hug right now, just in uttermost appreciation and gratitude for what this body does for me each and every day and the safety we've been able to cultivate together. Your home is your own. There are immediate shifts that can be done to make it feel safer. Only you can identify what those are. Other shifts might be larger and take more time before they can actually manifest into your reality. The way to identify this is doing the small things first so that your body and mind connection can begin to communicate with you of what the need is. And every time you show up to this conversation, you're practicing trust, and this grows on itself. Being able to tune into your body can be very difficult for some. I have some friends that body pain is so alive that tuning into the body is very painful. And some of those friends are using guided meditation to do body scans to help with growing in communication of what that body needs. And so I invite you into that. Body scans is a great place to start when you're working on this conversation aspect within your home and practicing trust. When I think back a year ago to the hurt I was experiencing within myself, and now knowing the journey of healing I was embarking on, it's truly remarkable to reflect on. Life makes sense looking backwards, and being able to retrospectively reflect on that is truly a gift in this journey because it keeps me going. It really does. Continuing to remind myself of how much I really have grown and come along the way. It does. It keeps me going and just reminds me of how powerful I am, how powerful we all are. We all carry such beautiful power within ourselves. The relationships I was navigating at that time have shifted in the way we connect because I was able to ask for mutual respect and set boundaries around the needs I hold within myself. Because I was able to identify those needs within myself, holding me accountable for my own needs to be met, meeting the ones inside of myself that were my own responsibility, and asking for help in the ways that I need support has completely shifted the way I live and embody this home. I've learned to love my home and all it does for me. Thank you, home. Thank you, body. For me, this journey was kickstarted because of new levels of understanding my gender and learning how I wanted to be treated by others. What can you do to cultivate safety within your own home? Is there a habit you know you're participating within yourself that is not serving you? How can you choose differently for yourself? Breaking these patterns can be really cyclical and takes intention and time. Be gentle with yourself and know it is so worth it. I know every time I show up to a pattern that I might be breaking for the umpteenth time because pattern breaking be like that, I have to hold grace and ease for myself and also remind my mind that it is worth doing and showing up to, even if I'm uncomfortable. Every time you show up for yourself and choose a life that opens you up to greater alignment, it is worth it. Tending to your vibration is done by choosing things that make you feel safe inside. It is a journey to discover where your alignment lies, and I thank you in advance for doing this work by showing up to your own life, knowing that it's possible to get better and will continue to get better and better with every step you take in choosing you. If no one has told you today, I will tell you that I am proud of you. And be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you, AB. I'm proud of you for showing up and continuing to cultivate safety and asking for your needs to be met and just living in your own home, choosing your alignment and tending to your vibration. Thank you, listener, for being here with me in this space. And I am proud of you for being exactly where you are. And whether you are just embarking on this journey with your own home or you have been doing this work and it's going to deepen in new ways, thank you for showing up to your own life, to your own safety, and to your own alignment. Because, as I say, the world needs you as you, exactly as you are, the unique thumbprint that you have to offer through your specific gifts. I love you so much. Be awesome. If you have not yet been familiarized with A Better Standard Direction, I highly encourage you to go to abetterstandarddirection.com, check us out, join the movement. We'd love to have you exactly as you are in this process. Check out the one-on-one offerings, volunteer opportunities, in-person or virtual events, the Catalyze Awakening program. There's constantly newness being added to this movement, and that may also be through you and the gifts that you have to offer. I would love to cross-pollinate in however that aligns. So please reach out. Would love to hear from you at absd@abetterstandarddirection.com. It's always a gift to connect. Till next time. Bye.